If you are a small business owner, there are probably two feelings that you're having right about now. And you might be having them at the same time as well, excited and overwhelmed. Because AI is everywhere. And if you're anything like me, you're either seeing people on LinkedIn or Instagram yelling at you saying, don't get left behind. This is the last time you can get on board, which is obviously total rubbish. And so, this podcast, I really wanted to make it for the non techie people. If you are a techie person, welcome. You are welcome here. But I kind of wanted to take the hysteria down a notch and share with you how I'm thinking about AI and what I'm using it for and how you can start to think about using it in your business. Now, obviously, I feel like last year, 2025, ChatGPT was all the rage. And now, as I'm recording this in March 2026, March has been the month of Claude. Claude's been around for a while, but they have upped the ante in the last 4 to 6 weeks with new things dropping all of the time. And as somebody who has used both, I have found Claude to be superior to ChatGPT in the way that it writes, it thinks, it operates, and we've got the different modes that you can use with Claude as well. Once again, I'm not going to get super techie. I'm just going to speak in very plain, simple language about how I'm using it, the way that I'm thinking about it, and how you can think about it too. Now, I've got my notes off to the side as well. So if you see me looking, that is what I'm looking at. But I am excited to dive in. Just a little bit of background is that I am using it a lot in my business. I really enjoy it. And so it doesn't feel too hard. I love the exploration of it and testing things out and all the rest of it. As somebody who is a business coach, I feel like it is my job as well to be on top of this in order to help clients. And as somebody who is stepping back into fractional CMO work through Bold Vibes Consulting, which is my other business, I think that this is a really important thing for me to be aware of and learn so that I can look at how I'm automating client systems too. So that is what we're going to be talking about today. I think one of the great things right now about AI and the way that I want you to think about it is that it is really built for the non-techie person. It is really conversation based as to how these systems can help you. And so without overthinking it, if you were sitting with somebody and you were asking them for help in your business, what are the sorts of things that you might ask them when it comes to maybe the back end or the way that things are set up, etc. Even potentially building something that you've been thinking about. And so you don't really need to know exactly how these AI tools work. Once again, non-techie, don't need to know it. And you don't need the 50 billion tools that are out there. One of the things that I'm really focused on right now is just using Claude pretty much predominantly because it's got everything that I need right now. And then also following a couple of people who I trust, who speak in a way that I understand, where they keep it simple and make it easy and I find it useful. I think it's really easy to get overwhelmed if you're trying to listen to a lot of people. And that's definitely not something that I would recommend. We want to keep it simple. We want to ask simple questions and we want to listen to people who are helpful and make it feel easy to understand. So what I actually want to do is I want to go through 4 things that I'm using it for in my business, and we can dive a little bit deeper into this. So there are 4 pillars that I want to unpack with you today. The first one is insights. So this was where I started with Claude as well. I feel like with ChatGPT, I just used to get it to write things for me and I would ask it questions and it would answer it. It didn't really do additional things. I did create some custom GPTs, which were great, but compared to what I'm doing with Claude as far as how it's helping me in my business, this is at a completely different level. So let's start with insights. Where I started with this is that I really wanted to understand more about where my business was at. And so I initially took screenshots in Instagram of my dashboard. I looked at my Google Analytics. I looked at my LinkedIn insights as well. I also looked at my SEO on my website, which ended up being a much bigger job than what I ever anticipated. and then also insights into like my email list, etc. So anywhere where you've got data, that is something that I'm using Claude for at the moment, where I'm asking it questions like, what content is performing the best? What insights can you see? What could I be focusing on more? What's had the most engagement, etc. Now, obviously, when you look at your dashboard, you can see some of that, but I was just really testing whether Claude could give me more insights that maybe I hadn't seen. And I think the other thing that I found really great is that when I actually brought all of those dashboards together, so my Google Analytics, my LinkedIn, my Instagram, my emails, Claude was really able to show me where my gaps were. It was really giving me an overall indication of where my audience were, the fact that I was getting a lot of direct hits and a lot of warm engagement, but I was really missing out on cold audiences. And obviously, as somebody who talks about building your brand, that is something that is so important to continue to get new eyeballs on what it is that you're doing. And so just that insight where it could see that across the board meant that now I was like, okay, let's take a look at what the strategy is across the board to start accessing new audiences, etc. Now, one of the biggest jobs that we ended up doing was I did an analysis of the SEO on my website. Now, you've got to remember, I've had my business for 10 years. So I feel like it is very bloated. There's a lot going on. And I think that from an SEO perspective, we haven't been as on the ball as possible. And so one of the things that I did, and you can actually grab a free guide, I will link it in the podcast or video link below so that you can grab it. And it shows the step-by-step of what I've done in order to get my SEO, my website, etc., up to scratch, which has now started leading to more organic leads coming in. It was probably a 2-week turnaround time. And so that's been fantastic. And I've continued to make that better and better. And it's something that I've just been chipping away at. And I think one of the great things about Claude, and I mainly use the Chrome plugin, which means that I can open up my website or my Google Analytics or my Google Console or whatever it is, my WordPress, and I can go to that Chrome plugin and it will open up on that page and start working. And I can go and do something else and it will continue to work for me on that page, which to me blows my mind. I feel a bit used to it now, but how quickly we get used to the things that we haven't used before. And so those insights have been really great. And it's really helped me to start to work on strategies that I was working on before, but not to the depth that I'm working on now and not with the insights that I'm working with now, which has been great. So that is something, and I'm not going to get into it too much today. I will do maybe a more in-depth episode another time, but I'm also taking a look at how we automate those insights on a monthly basis so that we've got that reporting coming in and then we can build strategies around wherever we're seeing our engagement, our numbers, etc., going. And one of the things that's really prompted me to do is that I am on a mission to grow my email list by thousands this year. And so really taking a look at what's working, what can I be doing, what's hot right now that I can help my clients with, and how can I move fast with this and not get too attached to things, but maybe being able to come up with some new ideas as well. So that is the first thing, is really thinking about where are the insights that you can potentially be looking at in your business. The second thing is efficiencies. And the grunt work has been one of the biggest benefits. Basically taking a look, and for example, I will say to Claude when I am in my kit, which is my email management system, okay, I want to build out this visual automation, which is basically where you've got a landing page or a tag if you use ManyChat, and then an email sequence, and then it adds to my master list, etc. And so I just say, this is what I want you to do. Go and build it out, and then I'll go and I'll write the emails and I'll tweak things and I'll add in whatever I need. But it does the grunt work. It does the work where that would have taken me probably, 20 minutes or so to do myself. And other grunt work that it's done that has been amazing is sorting out my Google Drive. Like I said, 10 years in business, ridiculous, 15 gigabytes of storage that was in there, and it was asking me to start paying more. So I got Claude to look through and get rid of anything that was a duplicate, anything that we didn't need anymore, old files, etc. so that it could take a look at my Google Drive and my Dropbox and see if I had duplications. And I had so much in my Dropbox, but that was still sitting in my Google Drive. And so getting it to look through things like that, I still need to finish letting it go through my Dropbox to clear things out. And so those sorts of things like my SEO, my Google Drive, my Dropbox, all of those things that would have taken time to do, even cleaning up my kit and my email list, like my tags and my sequences, that would have taken ages. And I think a lot of this work, I don't know that I would have got somebody to do it because it would have taken too long and it would have cost a lot. And it's just admin that needs to be done. And so that has been, I think, one of the best things for me as far as efficiencies go. Like, it's just really helped me to get rid of that mental load and be able to clear through things quickly so that I know now, okay, amazing. My SEO is great on my website. My Google Drive has been cleared. My Dropbox has been cleared. Like, we've gotten rid of tags that we're not using anymore in our emails. Because I think that when you don't do those things, you sit with decision fatigue a lot and it weighs on you. It's just the mental load that you've got that you can now get rid of. And it hasn't replaced things like my thinking. I was saying to somebody the other day that I feel like I'm writing even more, like I'm reading, I'm writing, and I feel like I haven't done it to this extent in a long time. And so I feel like it's giving me that space to be able to do it as well, which is exciting. And when you think about all of that grunt work, the question is, what would you do with an extra 5 hours a week? What would you do knowing that the stuff you've been thinking about is now done? What would you start to focus on more? What would you start to create more? Would you show up differently? And that's what efficiency is really all about. It's about giving you your headspace back and not just doing things faster, but allowing you to do the work that only you can do. And this is one of the things that I've been saying to clients a lot, is that AI is going to be great for efficiencies. It's going to be great for streamlining things. But this is a time where your personal brand is actually more important than ever before. Like, your opinions are more important than ever before, because people with less experience are going to be accessing AI to share information, but they don't have your experience and your knowledge and your stories and the things that you can share. And so I'm really wanting my clients and for myself to lean into storytelling more, to lean into commentary and examples, etc. And so really think about what that looks like for you. The next one is all around automations. Now, this is something that I'm doing, I haven't fully done yet, and still trying to understand. And obviously doing things faster is fantastic, but if you can automate things in the background, that's even better. And so a couple of things that I have done, and once again, trying not to get too techie, but within Claude, there are skills, and skills are really just a library of information that sits in the back end that Claude refers to when you're asking it to do something. So I'll give you an example, is that I have now built out a lot of information in my Notion, which Claude has access to, because I've connected the two, and it is my brand strategy. It is client testimonials. It's my brand voice guide and document. It asks me a whole lot of questions about what I believe and what I think and my opinions on things. And so I'm building that depository of information that it can access. And so when I then create automations, it's drawing from me. It's not drawing from generic information online, but it's drawing from what I think, what I believe, from my content as well, and my insight. And so some of the automations that we're looking at are things like daily sales tasks, where I get emailed with what my daily sales tasks are based on a sales strategy, what my content is going to be looking like for that week and what I need to be thinking about. And then on a monthly basis, what the content strategy is going to be as well. Automating things like when I do a long form YouTube video, it can then edit that video. I'm really interested to see how good that's going to be, because that's going to be a new thing I'm going to be doing. And then taking the transcript from this, stripping the audio, taking the transcript, doing the blog post, etc., and creating an automation where when I drop that video in, it then just goes and does all of those other things. Once again, we've got to test this and see, does it work? Do we need to tweak it? What works and what doesn't work? And so I think very much in that stage of figuring out what those automations are going to look like. But when you look at the things that you just do on autopilot every single week, that is a task that you have to do. Is there a way that you could automate it? What would it look like if you automated it? And then just chatting with Claude to see if it can map that out for you. And I think that's the thing, just having the mindset of, I'm just going to test it out. I'm just going to have a conversation with Claude and see what comes back. And I think that if you can do that is where you're going to get the benefits and understand what you can and can't do. And also, you're just going to learn as you go. Like, you don't need to know everything now. And like I said, things are dropping as we speak. I think this week or last week, Dispatch dropped, which is basically where I can send Claude a message from my phone and it will start operating on my computer at home. It's crazy, but these things are dropping on the regular. So you don't need to be an expert. Nobody's an expert. It's all fresh and new. Other things I'm really looking at for automations are things around client experience, welcome emails, check-in prompts, those sorts of things. So really taking a look at what would I like my customer experience to be and how can we maybe automate more of that within the business to see how that experience can be even better. And I think even going back to analysis and taking a look at what's our current experience, where are the gaps, how do we want it to feel, what are the suggestions that Claude might come up with as far as what else we could be doing, I think is where I'm excited to see what else we can do. I'm not going to go into AI agents because I feel like that's getting too techy. I just want to stay where we can chat and get Claude to be doing things for us that are going to fill some gaps and help us to be more efficient, more automations, more insights. And then the fourth thing, which I am excited about, is innovation. And so you don't need to know everything, but I think being curious about your business, being curious about the market, being curious about how else this could look. Like if your business was to be doing the things that you want it to do, is that something you could do now? Is this something Claude could help you with? And I'll give you a really key example, is that I was listening to somebody on YouTube and they were sharing the fact that online courses and group programs, we will get to a stage where your clients will not need to watch videos, which blew my mind. But it's really looking at what are the clients coming for? They're coming to get an outcome. And so even after literally hearing that today, I went to Claude and I started to think about what would that look like? And it would really look like a tool. It would look like something that my clients get access to that have my method and knowledge embedded in it. And then it works with the client to ask key questions, to get key answers based on that methodology, and then gives them an output that they can go and implement. So instead of watching a video and learning about it and then answering questions in a workbook or something, which now that I think about it feels so manual, I'm now looking at how I build a tool for Amplify, gets my clients the outcome that they want when we go through the method. So for example, with their strategy and identity, it's going to start with asking them a whole bunch of questions, giving them that strategy and helping them around identity so that they can actually go now and use that and work with it. It's going to help them to build their method out in double time. It's going to help them to create their magnetic messaging based on all of their company information, how they want to be positioned in the market, what are the spicy opinions that they've got, what are the things that they want to be saying. And so this tool will be asking them all of those questions and helping them to execute super fast and giving them a plan that they can then use in their business. And this is going to save so much time and hopefully, I believe, get clients results so much faster as well. And then once they've got all of that, really looking at that ongoing innovation, what's the next stage for them when it comes to amplifying their personal brand, attracting the clients that they want? How are they being innovative in their own business too? And I'm excited to be working with clients around building out their AI and really thinking differently because it's something that I enjoy and I'm excited about. And so I feel like that's a real opportunity for me with clients too, to really think about what that's going to look like. And I think that it's the business owners who really take on that curiosity around what are my insights telling me? How can I understand it more? What are the automations and the efficiencies that I can create? And then how am I being really innovative? When I look in my space, and this is something I talk about, is being a leader in your space. How are you being somebody that talks about the things that you're doing and that you're trying, not just theory, but this is actually how I'm using it, which is what I'm talking to you about today, is I've spent part of today building out not only my second brain, which we'll talk about another time, but also potentially a new tool for Amplify that would get my clients faster results, which is what I want. Yeah, I want them to get confident to show up. I want them to be able to execute on the strategies that we've got. I want it to be able to help them to move faster and create in a better way. And so those are the 4 things that I really wanted to share with you today. I hope that this was super non-technical. Let me know. Send me a DM at Suze Chadwick because I'm really interested to hear. I might go a little bit techy in another one, in another episode, but just for today, I just wanted to share with you how I'm thinking about it, how I think that you can approach this with ease and confidence and curiosity. I think that's what we want. We don't want hectic overwhelm and feeling like you're behind. That is the last thing that I would ever want you to feel after listening to me. I want you to know that you are smart and you are capable and that you can just take this baby steps because it's all just happening now. You're not behind. And I think that if you do come at it from a place of curiosity with, I wonder how this can help my business to be better. I wonder how this can help me to save more time. I wonder how this can help me make more money and be able to service my clients in a better way. If you come at it from that, I think that you'll see the benefits of AI in your business because it's here to stay. Remember to grab the free resource below, which is the Claude Brand Builder's Guide that's going to show you some of the things that I've been doing. And if you've got any questions, let me know. But otherwise, I'll see you next time.